Hi. How will you know if you're a good leader and if your team is succeeding? We're just getting right into it. We're just jumping right in. This is Module 1, Lesson 3, and today we're talking all about success. You might be wondering or worrying all about success. How will you know if you're succeeding? Or maybe more accurately, how will you know if you're failing? How will you know if your team is failing you? And how will you know if your team is succeeding? When I first started leading a team, I had no idea what I was doing. I led meetings with literal shaking knees. I couldn't even sit. I just had to stand, like walk around. I just thought everyone was thinking and could see right through me and could see that I wasn't cut out for this. In no way was I ever thinking that I deserved to be in this place. And I just thought the whole time, everyone can tell this is not for me. My personal motivation, though, was to make sure that other people saw me as a leader. That was what fueled me. I have to be perfect because I want people to see that I deserve this place. I was striving so hard, but I never came over that feeling of the imposter complex because I just kept thinking and worrying about myself. But I realized, it took a long time for me to realize this, but I soon realized that that's not the function of a leader. The leader is actually the servant. A servant of the purpose that you're being called to, the mission that you need to execute, and the team that you're serving toward the vision that you're serving. So I realize that it's so obvious, but it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about guiding your team toward fulfilling a purpose. From there, it's all about everything that's not you. Just write that down. It's about anything that's not me. The leader is not the glorified hero. The leader is the servant of everything and everyone. Are your team members happy? Are they growing? Is the company accomplishing its mission? Is it nearing its vision and fulfilling its purpose? Are your clients thriving under you and your team's care? That's the outward outlook that you need to have. You might be thinking, well, wouldn't it just be nice if I could just have a set of metrics where I could literally measure my effectiveness? I just want to have it on my Apple Watch, just wear it all day, and it just tells me, ding, 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 you're not being a good leader. Ding, 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 you need to do something. That's like my breathing app. It's like, ding, 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 you're stressed out. You need to take a chill pill and breathe a little bit. I wish I had one of those for being a leader, right? Well, you kind of do. The metric is the vision for your team. So here's an exercise. I want you to sit down right now and imagine your dream team. Everything's perfect. Everything's functioning well. A well-oiled machine. It's beautiful. What does it look like? I want you to map it out so you know when you get there. How will you know when you have a successful team? Map out. This sounds kind of cheesy, but why don't you map out what a future team meeting looks like with your thriving team? How many people are there? What do you talk about before you get down to business? And how does it feel? Like, how does the meeting flow? And what are you guys talking about? And not only like what you talk about before business, but what kind of business are you talking about together? How does the meeting flow? If you're like me, like my dream is to see a bubbling room full of creative, productive energy. I want a team that naturally collaborates. We're debating each other, we're refining things. We have hearts focused on making the greatest impact for clients because we each know our purpose in the world and we're rising up to every occasion and we're linking arms at every meeting. So how do we get there? Now you know what success looks like for your team. You know that once you reach that, or if you get to a team meeting and it's nothing like what you envision or what you want in your heart, then you will know the discrepancies and you'll be able to start working to change the way you're functioning, change the expectations you're setting, change the standards you're setting, and start calibrating from there to grow toward that vision you have for your team. So how do we get there? Here are some three things. Not really things, they're more of like things to look at. These are filters for the way that you function within your team, the way that you lead your team. So they are using the past, the present, and the future to your advantage and for the growth of your company. So the past. I want you guys, functioning, thriving teams use the past to help course correct and learn. They don't stay in the past, but they don't dwell there. They use it to learn from it and apply that to their present so that they can get to their future. So look at your past, your successes, your mistakes, your failures, and what opportunity for growth do you see there? Do you use the past to help you course correct and learn? And then how will you lead your team to review failures as well as successes in order to tackle even bigger challenges? And then I want you to look at the present. And these are things that you always need to look at. You always need to be leading your team to use the past to fuel your present and your future, and then to look at your present and look at the future as well. So, for the present, do you consistently achieve the steps required today in pursuit of the future vision? How does the present feel as well? Is there a feeling of eagerness for the future, but kind of contentment in the current culture? Is everyone happy and content where they are, but they're also eager to strive for the future as well? There's a difference in aching for the future because you're not happy where you are, and then there's also a fine line between that with being happy where you are and being complacent. So I want you to make sure that there's always an eagerness to push forward, but there's a real happiness with where you are. And I guess that's pride. You want your team to be proud of where they are today because they worked to get there, and then excited to keep working for the future. So, do you consistently hit objectives? Do you keep the vision alive? When you hit objectives or you don't, do you stay focused on how that still achieves the larger vision, or do you spiral into tunnel vision, focusing only on and always on what's right in front of you? A thriving present is one that is a mindful product of the past and a foundation for the future. And then I want you to lead your team toward growth in the future. So leading well, this is going to be a big concept and a little overwhelming, but you can do it. Leading means that you straddle two realities. It's a big job, but you can do it. You have to straddle like the realms between the future and the present, and the past, I guess, too. You have to be kind of a time traveler and then communicate what you learned back to your team. But for the future and looking toward the future, you are the only message your team has from their future selves, telling them how and why to pursue the future. They're too busy working in the now and advancing the mission. You have to be the one that goes ahead, sees the reality that is there, and then comes back and communicates that and continually pours out vision. That's your job. You have to think of like what kind of imprint you're looking to make in your team members as well. Like what kind of legacy do you want to leave in their hearts? What kind of change, what kind of team and team members, what growth do you see for them in the future? And what can you start doing now to pour into them in that way? I want you to take a moment and think of someone that you consider to be a really great leader. And I want you to think of why. Take a few seconds. Pause if you need to. I'll be here. Okay. So think of someone that you consider a great leader. Why are they a great leader to you? It's because they had some kind of impact on you. They changed your life in some way. You are a different person after meeting and engaging with them. So, what kind of impact was that? And why do you value that so much? Now, how can you commit to being that same kind of inspiration and impact maker for your team? So there you go. If you focus on the past, the present, and the future in these ways, and you're always working toward the vision of success in your head that you have mapped out for your team, you will be a successful leader. All right, I'll see you guys in the next lesson.